Greetings, District 117. This is your District Director, Ramona Baylor. I am doing our interview for the month of December with Marcella Lima, and I am glad to be here, honored and privileged again to serve you as your District Director and to share another Toastmaster with you who I wanted to spotlight for the month. Again, Marcella Lima. Let's get started with some questions and find out who is Marcella Lima and why she joined Toastmasters, her background, and then we'll follow up with why you as guest and potential members, why you should join Toastmasters. Marcella, can you tell us about yourself, where you're from, what is your profession?
Of course, thanks, Ramona. So my name is Marcella Lima. I work at SAS. I'm a data scientist. So a lot of numbers, but also a lot of client-facing work. I'm actually originally from Brazil, and I moved here with 2 years left in high school. I went to college in Maryland and then came to North Carolina shortly after to get my master's degree. That's about me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you came to the States and you finished your degree. What brought you to North Carolina and why did you join Toastmasters?
Yeah, my master's program was at NC State. It was a Master of Science in Analytics. And that's a program, it's the first analytics master's degree in the nation. It was very well thought of in the industry. So I decided that if I was going to get a master's degree and stay in school for longer, it had to be the best one. So that's how I got to North Carolina. And then once there, I had a great relationship with the people here at SAS. And that's when I decided to stay in North Carolina and pursue my degree or pursue my career using my degree at SAS. And at SAS is when I actually learned about Toastmasters. I had never heard of it growing up, even though there are, Toastmasters in Brazil. I didn't know about it when I was growing up. But when I got to SAS, I went into a meeting, my first client-facing meeting at SAS. And this lady, she was in the room, and the way she spoke to the client, I was mesmerized. I thought, wow, I want to speak like her. And she became my mentor shortly after she got her Distinguished Toastmaster. The department sent out an email congratulating her. And so I started Googling, what is Toastmaster? And realized that it was public speaking related. And I was like, wow, if she speaks like that and she's in Toastmaster, I need to join immediately. And so that's what brought me into Toastmasters for the first time, was understanding that the way she handled her client interactions came from Toastmasters and the skills developed in the Toastmasters meetings. And I wanted to do that as soon as possible.
Great. Would you like to share two things with us? What does SAS stand for? And then who was your mentor?
Sure. So SAS, it doesn't stand for anything. It's just the company I work for. We're a statistical software company located in Cary, North Carolina. With many Fortune 500, there's a lot of client interaction. So I work in the consulting department. The coding and everything that I do on the back end, I still have to be able to present to a non-technical audience. So being able to communicate is necessary in order to complete our job. And my mentor is Sherry Patillo.
Okay, I know who that is. Thank you so much. And thank you for explaining what SAS is, and not that it's an acronym, but thank you for explaining what the company does and what your part of the puzzle is in that company. Very, very exciting. So we know what club you're a member of. What is unique about the SAS Toastmasters Club?
I think the most unique thing about the SAS Soft Talk Toastmasters Club is that we are a corporate club, number one. And number two is that we are so diverse. SAS brings in tons of people from all around the world. And it's so nice to be able to convene in one place and all work on different things. And not everybody in our club is in the consulting department. Some people are in sales. Some people are even in R&D, where they wouldn't necessarily have to have client facing, but they wanted to better their speaking skills so that they could communicate with their managers, communicate with their coworkers. What if you get stuck in the elevator with the CEO? What are you going to say, right? So Toastmasters prepares you for all these things.
Well, I had some questions lined up, but you kind of made me realize that there is something that is going on in the Toastmasters world that's extremely important. And because you're part of a corporate club, I want to ask this question. Because of COVID-19, what challenges is Soft Talk going through? And can you explain how you've overcome the challenges? We're hearing now that corporate clubs are having a lot of challenges because they're working at home, they're working online, and they're getting the Zoom fatigue because we want you to also go to your Toastmasters meetings. What challenges has the club seen and overcome?
Absolutely. So one thing that I would like to state off the top is that my club makes me so proud. The moment that our company told us, sent us an email and let us know that we were going to be shutting down for a few weeks due to COVID, and then it was just a couple weeks, right? It wasn't even months, it was weeks. We immediately switched our meeting to Teams. We did not miss 1 week. So we went straight from, okay, well, we can't meet in person. Let's just use Teams. We all have Teams on our computer. Let's just go on over and see how it plays out. And the rules have changed, right? Our, what's the Sergeant at Arms doesn't have the same role that they had when it's in person. A Sergeant at Arms on the online world makes sure that the speakers are ready to speak, make sure that the timer has the proper backgrounds, right? Make sure that everybody in the meeting is well prepared to serve online. One of the struggles that we've had, though, is, again, retention. We were a 50-member club, and on average, we have about 20, maybe even 30 people per week showing up at meetings. So even though we are online, we did see just a little bit of impact on our membership. Our biggest struggle, I would say, though, is being able to get new members to come in, because typically when we're in person at the company, what we do is we have open houses. And before the open house, the couple of days prior, we would table at the cafes at SAS. So we have 5 different places you can eat at SAS, and we would set tables at all those places and talk to employees, invite them to our open house. We'd have open houses with over 50 guests. And now we're online, so it's much, much different. We've been trying to get over that hump by personally inviting our coworkers who maybe didn't attend because they didn't want to drive to a different building during work. They'd just get on their computer again. Or SAS is a international company. Our club was just at Cary headquarters. Well, if we're online, we can target people that are in regional offices or working from home in different areas of the United States. So just last week, one of my coworkers who I worked with on a project joined our meeting from Virginia, right? So that's the way we're trying to overcome it, is, well, if we can't get people from Cary to join, let's try to target people that have never experienced Toastmasters to come to our meeting. And since we are online, and now we feel more than capable of being able to handle online meetings or online guests, even when we do return, that we can have people join and be members from a distance. So that's one of the things that we're doing.
Thank you for sharing, and fellow Toastmasters. Yeah. Now you have some ideas that you can utilize when you're in a corporate setting. Let's talk about your leadership roles. What leadership roles have you held in Toastmasters, and what are you currently doing in Toastmasters as a leader?
Sure. I joined Toastmasters 2.5 years ago. No, 3. 2.5 years ago. It was 2.5 years ago. And with 6 months into my Toastmasters experience, I was asked if I would like to step in as the club secretary. And I think that was a great role to take on at first, because it exposes you to what each officer does, because now you're taking minutes at the officer meetings and you're understanding and writing down what everybody has been doing. So that was my first role, and I did that for 6 months. And after those 6 months, I was elected vice president of education. So that's what I did the last Toastmasters year. I was VP of education. And then this go round, so this past summer, I became the president of Toastmasters, as well as taking on a district role as the area director for Area 22. So this year I'm juggling 2 pieces of it, right? I'm president of my club as well as area director, but I think it goes hand in hand. And the experience that I have being president of my club during these times is helping me help the other clubs in my area that also are corporate clubs.
Thank you. And how are you liking being an area director? What have you learned about yourself as a leader in these last 5 months?
I love being an area director. When I was really into Toastmasters, like the first year and a half, I had very minimal experience with dealing with anybody that was outside of our club. So all when I was secretary, even when I was vice president of education, everything I was doing was truly based in within soft talk. But now I've been exposed to this whole new level of understanding and knowing people in different areas, being able to ask certain people that do have certain experiences how to handle something or how to deal with something that I didn't have before. And also just the networking opportunities that come with Toastmasters. I did a contest my first year as a Toastmaster, and I went to the area level, and I did not know anybody in the room. Like, I was so shy. Like, people would come and say, "Hi, like, are you speaking?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I just didn't talk to anyone. I was super in my own space. And now I feel like I know a lot of people in the district. So when I do go to these events, even though they're online, I see familiar faces. I can network with people and just feel more at home.
Great. I love that you mentioned networking because in my short span of being a Toastmaster, I've been able to network with leaders around the world. And it is just mind blowing. The more that you move up and the more that you expose yourself to leadership, and not even leadership, if you were just to go to a district conference, like you said, and meet new people and network. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah,
What's your
absolutely.
most memorable Toastmasters experience?
Oh, okay. This one is most memorable because I had the most nerves doing it. I last summer for my level 5 project, I decided to volunteer to lead a TLI, lead a session at TLI. I had never been to a TLI before. I had no idea what I was walking into. All I knew was I was going to talk about club success and I was going to hold a panel. I couldn't be more overwhelmed. When I walked in and I saw all those people, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to stand here and lead a panel discussion that to all these people. There was no way, but I overcame it. And it was such an amazing experience. And that also started my networking and maybe I should, look into a district position because I realized that all these people are there to support you. I had so many people come up to me after my panel discussion to let me know that they had such a great time and they learned so much in my panel discussion. Something that honestly, even when I was doing it, I didn't believe that I was providing anybody anything of value. So it was so satisfying to participate in that. And even though I was so nervous, to hear the positive feedback afterwards was such a monumental experience for me.
Great. Thank you, Marcella. And that does happen with a lot of us when we do our
Yeah.
first big presentation. I like that you said, I've never been to a TLI. For those listening and potential could be members, a TLI is a Toastmasters Leadership Institute, and excuse me, we conduct it twice a year for the club officers, and that's what Marcella was doing. She was conducting a session at one of the TLIs. Most likely it was in District 37, I believe, because you said last year. But thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing how you came out of that on the other end successful and you felt good about yourself. And of course,
Yeah.
we're here to support each other as Toastmasters. And I loved hearing that people came up to you afterwards and said, what a wonderful job you did. My final question is, what would you share with someone that is thinking about Toastmasters? Why should they join Toastmasters?
Absolutely. So I've already told you what led me to Toastmasters. But what I didn't tell you was it actually took 1 year of convincing myself that I could walk into the room that Sherry was a part of. So I learned about Toastmasters 3.5 years ago. And it wasn't until 2.5 years ago that I stepped into an open house and actually participated. Once I started the open house, I joined right away, but it took a whole year. And what I would say is, if you have any sort of thought in your mind that Toastmasters would serve you for the better, just do it. Join a club, go to the meeting, because when I think back on it, how much more could I have already done and how much more could I have already improved had I not waited a whole year, right? So my message is join Toastmasters, because there literally is nothing like it. I, from Toastmasters, got, I wouldn't say shoved into, but I was very, very adamantly asked to give a speech to our whole company. So not last December, the December before that, 6 months into Toastmasters, I gave a speech to the whole company in front of everybody in the company.
Wow.
Because of the people in Toastmasters that knew my potential before I knew it, that saw something in me that I didn't know I had, and pushed me to achieve goals and to just look at how much more I can do and serve by public speaking. So that's one thing. And also, there's literally, regardless of where you work, what you do, who you communicate with, Toastmasters always has something for you, whether it's table topics to help you have impromptu conversations about whatever it is. Maybe you're standing in line somewhere and it's really awkward, nobody's talking, and you just want to engage and lift everybody's moods up. We're going through a hard time. Table topics can help you do that. If it's talking to your manager, table topics can help you do that. And then prepared speeches. If you have something that you need to say to somebody, not table topics, but Toastmasters can help you get that message in a way that when they receive it, they're going to get the points that you're trying to get across, and the overall message with your conclusion, your introduction, everything is just catered perfectly to deliver that message. So just do it. Don't wait a year like I did. I could have been doing so much more by now. I don't even know where I would be if I had joined when I really initially thought about it. But it's a safe space also. Every club, it's a safe space. You have people that have never spoken in front of 3 people before. You have people that have spoken in front of hundreds. But it is a safe space. You can feel comfortable standing up, speaking, making mistakes. That's what it's all about, right? Making mistakes and moving forward, because we're all growing together. So that's what I would say.
Thank you, Marcella. You heard it here. Just do it. I love that you just made it very clear and simple. Just do it. You gave us some examples of table topics, prepared speeches, and how I feel what you were saying is Toastmasters can definitely change your life.
Absolutely.
Do it now, everyone. Do it now. Thank you, Marcella, so much.
Of course. Thank you so
for this
much.
lovely interview. Everyone,
Yeah.
we'll see you on the Zoom, on the Teams, on whatever platform. Have a great day.
Bye.